want to tackle a very special topic, which is at the core of our health. That is the gastrointestinal system, how it functions, the challenges it encounters, and how it can trigger a lot of problems touching on all aspects of our health, from mental health to cancer. And simple systems we can actually use to utilize the very food we have in our kitchen and the environment to recover and prevent disease. So I think all members present are very much aware of what I mean by the gastrointestinal system. It is the system we use to partake our food right from the mouth to the end of the colony. In between there, we have segment, and we will be looking at how each of them affects the food we eat and how, at the end of the day, that effect has on our health. So I will begin first by saying that where you are sitting right now, inside you, you have 39 trillion microbes. We call them the microbiome. These are a mixed set of bacteria, which ordinarily we will wish that we didn't have. But then we must have them. 39 trillion microscopic elements called the microbiome. These microbiome are mixed. 10% are virulent, meaning they are capable of causing us disease, while the 90% are benign, meaning they are capable of protecting us. So what happens is that nature has made it possible for them to have a balance. And this particular balance means that the good bacteria will always be on top and the bad bacteria will always be below. When this balance is achieved, you are able to enjoy optimum health. So the bad bacteria are the normal ones we know, like typhi, which causes typhoid, and others. They are always there. They are never far away. They are always in us, but they are suppressed. And because they are suppressed, they don't cause any problem at all. So what happens? Out of these 39, 38 trillion are in the gastrointestinal system. And what do they do there? Without this bacteria, this benign bacteria, you cannot digest fiber. If you don't digest fiber, you cannot produce the fatty acids which your body needs to prevent disease, particularly cancer. So we have these microbes help us in producing the fatty acids that we require. We cannot get them from foods. They also help us in the communication. There is a communication system called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve stems from the brain and is the one responsible for enabling the organs, in particular the gastrointestinal system, to communicate with the brain. Without this particular bacteria, this communication will be completely impaired. They control our appetite. They control our food preference. They also provide a barrier between the gastrointestinal wall and the blood system, ensuring that there's no leakage of bad microbes from the gastrointestinal system into the blood system. If you have ever heard of somebody saying, I have a blood infection, it simply means that the microbial wall that is supposed to provide that particular protection has been broken down. Because this particular system is like an airtight bag made of joints, which we call tight joints. When the microbial wall collapses, these particular joints also loosens, and therefore food from your system, intestines, stomach, can then seep directly into the blood. And this is not allowed because this system is made in a way that even bacteria is too big to cross. But if the system is open, something as big as the bacteria can cross. So you will always suffer a lot of infections. You will always be on antibiotics. So this particular system also controls the secretion of serotonin, which is the happy hormone, and which also ensures that your mental health is optimized. So you can imagine if 90% of your serotonin is produced in the gut through this particular bacteria, if it went missing, you will go into depression, you will become suicidal, you will lose the joy of life, and a lot of other things can happen. So without the short chain fatty acids like butyrate and acetate, you cannot balance there will be no balance between acidity and alkaline in your system. You will either become too alkalinic or too acidic. If you become too acidic, a lot of bacteria will grow, the bad bacteria will grow, and then you will actually, healing will be a problem. If you become too alkalinic, again, you will have a lot of problem in healing. So there has to be that kind of balance. So allow me to tell you what happens with this particular, what causes this, the depletion or the destruction of this microbial system or ecosystem. One, simple things like antibiotics. And you may say, me, I don't take any antibiotics at all. I have not had any infection in the past 10 years. The truth is very different. Every time you eat meat, chicken, and eggs, believe me, you are taking in a lot of my antibiotics because that's what the animals live on. Today's animals cannot be reared without antibiotics. And so one, every time you eat meat, you are destroying your microbiome. Every time you take that painkiller, you are destroying your microbiome. They are very, very sensitive. And the unfortunate thing is that these particular drugs you are taking are actually destroying the good bacteria and not the bad bacteria. So when the good bacteria is destroyed, the bad bacteria takes over and sickness is the result. Stress. When you are stressed, you produce the pituitary gland. The brain signals the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland has to come in by producing a chemical called adrenocorticotropic hormone. This is the hormone which enables you to recover when you are in shock. Say, when you see a snake, you are supposed to die because of shock. But then within 2 seconds, there is so much adrenocorticotropic tropic hormone in your system that steals you up and makes you very strong. So you are able to recover your senses, either to run away or to look for something to deal with the snake. The same happens when you are depressed or stressed. You produce so much of it because to the brain, it's like you are going to collapse. And this particular hormone actually starts depleting your microbials in millions within seconds. Then when you take food, of course, food is the carbohydrates are supposed to be digested right from the mouth by a chemical called ptyalin from the saliva, because there is no other system of digesting carbohydrates anywhere in the system other than the mouth. But then the majority of us eat carbohydrates mixed properly in maybe a ratio of 1:1 with proteins. So proteins are not digested by ptyalin. They are digested in the stomach by the hydrochloric acid. So when you mix the two of them, it means, one, carbohydrates will go into the stomach and they will not be digested at all. They will be mixed up and the hydrochloric acid will destroy the ptyalin, so that and then the same carbohydrates must wait for 4 hours until when the proteins are properly digested before they are released into the small intestines. At that particular time, already the carbohydrates are destroyed, the ptyalin is destroyed, the carbohydrates which are digested in the small intestines can no longer be digested, so they petrify. To petrify in the common language is to rot. This the rotting carbohydrates also destroys the microscopic element we call the microbials, which I was talking about. Sugar. Many of us like sugar, and some of us will say, me, I don't take sugar. But then any moment you take carbohydrates, you are actually taking sugar, because that's the end result. So taking too much carbohydrates destroys these microscopes, and in the end, you are depleting your own protective army. So fat, particularly saturated fat from fish, chicken, pork, beef, they also do the same. They destroy these particular microbials. We also have other factors like, for ladies, family planning. Those of you who don't know is that the reason why a lady on family planning does not get pregnant is very simple. The chemical in the family planning system is meant to trick, to cheat the system that this lady is pregnant, with all the consequences. So you can imagine a woman being pregnant for 5 years. So what it is doing is that it destroys the whole system, including the hormone. It messes up with the hormonal system, and then, to make it worse, the microbials in our gut system. Then we have also the mixing of wrong food. When, for example, when you are eating food, the ptyalin in the saliva is so tiny, it could be 1 spoon. And then you are taking a whole cup of tea, 200 ml of water, or even a soda, or a cup of milk. You are grossly diluting the ptyalin, and therefore the food is not going to be digested. And as I said, the victim is this microbial. So to protect this particular system, you must go back to our first lesson where we talked about food sequence, what should follow what after what, and food combination, those which are easily digestible and cannot disturb our microbiome. Because without this particular microbiome, you will never come out of allergies. You will never come out of food intolerance, because a lot of this food is escaping into your blood system as and when it's not ready. And when it escapes into your blood system, we have signaling molecules we call histamine. They are very, very good because they are the ones which signal the system to start the process of digesting. But then when bad food or food which is not ready, badly digested, starts escaping into the main blood system, the histamine is overproduced now to protect you from this kind of irritation and adjacent and attendant inflammation, because it will cause inflammation. So when you have excessive production of this particular histamine, you will then automatically develop allergies. Food which you used to enjoy, at the end of the day, you will find that now it has become a poison to you. When you eat, you develop rashes, you start vomiting, you feel nausea, you develop all the symptoms of food allergies, you develop diarrhea, and so on. So, what do we do? I have good news for you. And the good news is these trillions of microscopic elements, which are very useful to us, have the shortest lifespan you have ever known, 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, you get a complete new set of your microbiome with all benefits. Now, this microbiome are inside you, they are only regenerating, but they also need to be fed. They have also their own food preference. So the main food preference for this microbiome is actually fiber. If you have fiber, it will go direct into the pig, the colony, that the pig intestines, and that's where this microbiome, that is the headquarters of this microbiome. They will act on it and then give birth to this particular short chain fatty acids, which I said was key to your immune system. Without them, your immune system will not function. So when it means even if your system is completely destroyed, you can start restoring it immediately in the next 20 minutes by just doing the right thing. So what is the right thing here? The right thing here is that you must have a steady supply of fiber. So where do we get this particular fiber? The main source of fiber is beans. I know many people are already intolerant. They have a lot of issues with beans. I'm going to give you some tricks to use to make sure that your system accepts and tolerates beans. Beans have something called all beans have something called saccharides. Saccharides are joined molecules of sugar which do not disengage even during even during digestion. This kind of sugar cannot be broken down, and therefore becomes the preferred food for the bad bacteria within this particular environment, microbial environment. So to make sure that you destroy this, and that's what now causes this, all this intolerance, to make sure that your beans loses this sugar, you must soak it for 48 hours. That's almost 2 days. You put it in water in the morning, you drain out the water in the evening and put in fresh water for the night, then remove again and put in fresh water in the morning, like that until 24 hours, then you cook. And when you cook, most probably cook it using a pressure cooker. A pressure cooker destroys any remaining residue, so that, and you will not lose any of the nutrients at all. So this way, you will also, you will have your system without the resistance. And then another trick to make sure that you actually tolerate the beans, which must be on your table on a daily basis because of this fiber, which the bacteria likes. You need to train, you can trick the cat in this manner. You can start by just taking, today you start by taking just a spoon. Tomorrow, you take 2 spoons. The following day, you take 3 spoons. Until the system is, and then if you see the reaction, you are still reacting, you can skip for 3 days, then take another spoon. At the end of the month, 21 days, your system will have started tolerating the beans. You will have achieved a lot of victory for your microbiome environment. The second one is that if you are this person who walks around with painkillers for any reason, and acids, any medication, go and get treated for that disease. Stop becoming a mobile pharmacy, so that you let your microbiome to thrive. You are killing yourself. And then the third one is, there are certain fruits which have more fiber, which are loved by this microbiome. These particular fruits, I will mention them very briefly here. One is this pear. The pear, I think they are grown in Limuru. One pear gives you 20 grams of fiber. So you are remaining with 80 because you need 100 grams of fiber on a daily basis. Then now you need 2 kiwis. Kiwi is a double win because kiwi will give you 40, 2 kiwis. One kiwi will give you 20, another one will give you 20, that's 40. Will give you 40 grams of fiber, yet it is also the same one, which is the most preferred fruit by the good bacteria in your system. So you are winning double by simply buying 2 kiwis from the supermarket and walking home with it. And if you add on that pear, that will be even much, much better. And if you reach home now and you have a half a cup of beans, that now gives you 100 grams of free, very, very affordable fiber. And your stomach, your microscopic soldiers will thank you for that. So that's one way of continuously replenishing the microbiota in your system. Another trick is, if you are not intolerant to milk, you should always, every 3 days, go and buy yogurt, natural yogurt, which has lactobacillus. This is a good probiotic, which is supplements now what the fiber is producing for you. So you need to have yogurt every 3 days, natural without sugar. And you must read behind the label. It must have this, among the probiotics, some of them have 7, others have 6, others have 4. One, the most important, which must be there, must be lactobacillus. If it's not there, don't waste your money. Don't buy it. And then we also need to ensure that, I may just repeat for those who are joining, who are not there last time, that it is so nice to eat your carbohydrates with proteins, nyama na ugali, nyama na chapati, kuku, na chips. But now we are talking about your life here. Don't do it. Because if you want to live a healthy life, right now, all of you are very young. It's like a new car. You can abuse it, drive it everywhere. It will still give you service, and you will smile and say, mine is not like that one, which is in the garage. But as you go towards your 60, and surely you will reach there, your system becomes weaker. All your sins revisit you, particularly ones relating to food. And now at that particular time, there's no penalty, because the system itself is too weak even to repent and reform. So you need to start eating differently. I know it will cause a lot of problems, and I will tell you how to deal with it. Some of these particular problems will be like, anaringa sana, ati hawezi kula hii, and he's too choosy, he doesn't eat in people's places. Now, you must just remain with your principle, and I will tell you the trick I normally use when I'm visiting. I'm sorry to reveal my secret. When I'm visiting, because I know how I'm supposed to be eating, and you may not be ready for that. So I just tell you I'm fasting. And truly enough, I'm fasting, because we will come to that later on to see how fasting comes into this particular equation. So you can always fast and be on a fast whenever you are visiting, so that you don't bother people with your special eating arrangements. So what I will prefer is that in the morning, at 4:30 in the morning, start with a apple, two glasses of apple water, warm water, to cleanse the system, because after the digestion and emptying of the gut into the lower system, your system is not pure. You need water to cleanse it, so that the environment for this particular microbiota will go back to normal. If it was alkalinic, if it was acidic, wash it down with the water. You can put in any herbs, rosemary, sage, anything that you fancy. Then you take 2 glasses. This microbiota is also very neat. It likes you to do some exercises. So you need to do some exercises after taking water at 4:30, which takes only 5 minutes. You can do your exercises up to 5. And the best exercise I normally advise people, which is very friendly to the microbiota, is actually a sport running. Just put a nice carpet next to your bed and sport run on the same, so that you don't wake up everybody else. And do this one for about 25 minutes, for about 15 minutes, then you do the stretches. Your microbiota will thank you for that. Then in the morning, maybe around 5:30 now, you are ready for your breakfast after taking your shower. I want you, if you have a pen, write the following. Tomorrow, when you go to the supermarket, go and get the following. sesame seeds, 1 kg, chia seeds, 1 kg, flaxseed, 1 kg, almonds, 1 kg, walnuts, 1 kg, almonds, sesame seeds, or otherwise called simsim, chia seeds, lean seeds, flax seeds, sunflower, and pumpkins seed. Mix the two, crush them, take them to the sun for dry them in the shade, not directly in the sun. Then when they are dry enough, you can now use your blender. Unasiaka inakuwa unga. Store it in an airtight container. Every morning, take 3 tablespoons in your water, warm water, or even milk, a cup of hot milk, and then go to work. Don't bother about tea, bread, sausage. Leave that one to the uneducated. Go to work. And the whole day, between breakfast and lunch hour, take water. The best way to take water so that you don't disturb this microbiome is actually to take water continuously, but in small sips. Don't take a whole liter, 200 ml. That's not fair to your microbiome because you are washing everything down. Take water slowly. And then lunch hour, take now your kiwi. 1 kiwi is enough. About 4 pieces of mixed berries. They can be dry or fresh. Just 4. Just count 1, 2, 3, 4. Mixed berries. Any berry you can come across. And then you can also take a pear so that your microbiome has sufficient food to take it to the evening. So in between there, after that, give it about 2 hours, start sipping your water until late in the evening, when now you are able, when you reach home, you will again take this powder, the powder I've just described, put it in your water, and then take it as a refreshment. Don't put in sugar. And then take your plate of steamed vegetables with some aromatics, particularly turmeric and black pepper. I told you that turmeric, your body is continuously subdividing. And some of these particular subdivisions is what causes cancer. But turmeric, the curcumin in the turmeric will always ensure that no cancer will start. Particular cancer, I'm just using one example. But then having this curcumin in your diet does not give you any value at all, because it's just like having a phone and you switch it off. It cannot assist you to communicate. So you need black pepper, just a very small portion of black pepper. When you sprinkle on that particular food, it will activate the curcumin in the turmeric and give it the strength of 3,000 times the potency. The resultant potency is 3,000 times much better. So don't waste time using turmeric in your meals if you don't have black pepper. You will be actually just wasting your money. You must. There is no good house. Every house should always have turmeric and black pepper on its shelf. And I also want to tell you that there is a particular kind of salt which the microbiota loves. It's called Celtic salt. Celtic salt, unfortunately, is not locally available, but you can actually buy it on the Amazon. And it has 112 different minerals, while the Himalayan, which is available, and the second alternative, has 88. The one you normally buy, the common one, has only 2. So you are as good as eating nothing with the kind of salt, this white salt, which we normally buy in the local tuka. And it should be thrown away and be left to those who don't know.
Prof, that is
Yes.
very, very powerful. Just to interject before we can throw away the salt. I have a few questions, lest we forget.
Yes.
So somebody asked, so which sugar is safe? And then the other one was saying, please, Doc, tell us the best family planning. And another one asked, would nuts be substitutes for beans? And then somebody also had asked, Daktari, so carbohydrates are not the source of fiber, as we have been thinking. Is Weetabix also fiber? And then another one, can one take mala instead of yogurt? Then probably let me ask 2 more. So how do we help people with ulcers, yet they can't do beans? And then where is avocado coming in? Is it still under fibers? Over to you, Prof. I don't know whether I can repeat them because I was a bit fast.
Maybe you can give in 2 or 3 so that it's not so long. 2, then go to the next 2. Yeah.
So the first 2 questions, Prof, is so which sugar is safe? And then the second question was, please tell us the best family planning. So let me, you can take those 2 first, Daktari.
The safest sugar, the safest sugar is the one in the fruits, because fruits, particularly the ones I have mentioned, also have fiber. So fiber holds on to the sugar and releases it will release it very slowly. So they have a lower glycemic index, which will not trigger an onslaught by the insulin. So make sure that the sugar you are using is actually from the sugar you are using is actually from fruits. And also eat wholesome food. Don't get your sugar from bread. Don't get your sugar from chapatis. Use natural food like potatoes if you are eating them, because they also have fiber and they have a lower glycemic index. They will not, it's not like processed sugar. So in short, avoid processed sugar. And then the best family planning is to use the natural monthly cycle, so that if it is regular, for example, if the lady's monthly cycle is regular, let's start there. From the day she sees the menses, count that day to be day 1. Then count from that day to the 9th day. That period is safe. Naturally, we know that ovulation takes place around the 14th day. But why are we leaving these other days, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th? These are 5 days we are leaving, because that is the time the spermatozoa remains alive, waiting. It's a hunger, hiding, waiting, praying. So you give it that chance for the spermatozoa to die before ovulation takes place, and then you are okay. The rest of the other days, because stress can change this pattern. So there are safe days toward the end, but I don't want to advise anybody on that, because toward that particular end, anything can happen. Stress can change the whole thing. And so what you do, you use the Catholic method, withdraw, or you abstain. no problem at all. Better a little discomfort than being sorry and destroying a whole human being, you know, because women have a lot of issues because of family planning. They are killing the microbiome, they are distorting their hormonal system, and they have a lot of issues. And also, they are overworking the liver because the liver has to deal with the residues of this medication.
Wow.
Walter, maybe Prof can talk about honey in relation to the sugar question, then we proceed. As a question
true,
about
true.
honey.
Yeah, true. Over to you, Prof.
Honey has 3 components. Fructose, which is not digestible, is 50%, sucrose, and then glucose, 25%, 25%. So as we know, fructose is never digested by the system and is not required by the body. So what happens is that every time you eat honey, a half of that goes to the liver. It's then stored as fatty liver. So you are only left with 50%, which is sucrose and glucose. So this is natural, and therefore, since we can't separate the two, honey is good, but only when eaten in moderation and also not regularly. Maybe once in every 2 weeks, you can use your honey. And that is basically, we have some medication which must be natural medication which must be mixed with the honey, like the one for arthritis. That's the only time you are supposed to use honey, but not to use honey as a substitute for sugar.
Okay, that is fine, Prof. So the other question was on where Weetabix is coming in, and also that we thought all carbohydrates are a source of fiber. And then somebody had asked, so where is Weetabix coming in? And then the other one was, can mala be used instead of yogurt, or can mala substitute to yogurt? Over to you, Prof.
Okay. Mala, if you are talking about the mala, which we get in the supermarket, that's not milk. That's not milk at all. Because the process of pasteurization completely destroys all the microbials in the milk. And then, as much as they don't indicate, that mala has a preservative to give it a longer shelf life. So it's one of the worst things that you can ever put in your mouth. It's very different from yogurt, because yogurt has some of these particular live microbials put in it. So mala can be useful in this manner. If you are lucky enough to have a farm and you have cows, your own, and I will tell you why. You milk this milk, you take this milk, the way we used to do when we were young. You see, there is some hairs which may not be very good to ingest, and then put it in the traditional quart, and you create your own mala. The natural microbiome in the cow will be transferred to this natural milk, which when you take, it will just help you like the yogurt will do. But then don't go making your own mala from the milk we get from the ATM in the supermarket and the one which is sold by the roadside. This one is just chemical. Some put in unga, others put in Blue Band, and the one in the supermarket is already the preservative is already put to keep it a longer shelf life, though it is already refrigerated. So don't trust that particular milk. You unakunywa unga na Blue Band. So milk should be your own. Don't boil it. And you will tell me, maybe some of you will be wondering, if I do that, I will become sick because I've been disconnected from that system for long. Yes, you start small. You start with 1 spoon, become sick kidogo. The following week, 2 spoons, become sick kidogo. The system will get used to that. And there's a lot of And before I forget, on the same benefit, you remember when you were at home, you used to take water from the stream or from the well, you adding nothing, and you are not sick. I will urge all of you to visit your villages with jerrycans, take a bit of water, come back to the city, start giving your kids just a bit of 5 milligrams, milliliters, that's a spoon, into their drinking water. They will eventually get used to this microbiota from the village, and their immune system will become even more stronger. The reason is the variety. You are as healthy as the variety of the bacteria in your system. That is why when you go home, you should remove your shoes and go digging with your hands, because you should be so hungry to get this microbiota into your system. So hold it, go uproot the potato and just eat it raw. You have so much microbiota down there in that soil, which you have no, otherwise you are totally unable to get in the city. Treat as many people as possible. You might become a little bit sick, but at the end of the day, your microbiota bank will be so diverse, will be so big that it will protect you. So don't go washing every time you greet people.
Wow, that's powerful. So, Prof, I think we interjected bringing questions because I knew probably towards the end we might miss that opportunity to answer some of the queries, but I'll probably just give you another 5 minutes or so to proceed. Sorry about the interjection, but it was worth. Thank you. Over to you, Prof.
No problem at all, because I intended to make this thing a discussion and to make it very light so that you have a take home. And I would just like to use my 5 minutes to summarize that you are not just a human being, you are also a very big powerhouse of very beneficial bacteria we call the microbiome. This microbiome are responsible for the proper digestion and absorption of your food. They protect you by creating a shield between the gastrointestinal system, where the food passes and is digested, and the blood system, so that this same bacteria helps you, but they are not able to cross the wall into the blood system, causing you diseases. And that a good system, which is protected by the microbiome, is able to produce its own fatty acids from which you get your vitamin, like vitamin K2, which is not in our food, the glutathione, which is vitamin U. All these particular systems, the friendly microbes also give you good health by producing serotonin, which is the happy hormone. They restrict the production of the stress manager called the adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is also destructive to our system and lowers our immune system by destroying the white blood cells. They also balance your hormone naturally. If you balance your microbiota, particularly for the ladies in the house, you will actually balance your hormone. It also reduces the aging process. You remain young for a very, very long time, which is the desire of everybody, because you need to be useful here longer, and that is by remaining younger. And also, they enable your nerve system to function optimally, because that is the main connector between the brain and the vagus nerve. Without the vagus nerve, your system will be disconnected from the brain. and then you will not be able to function properly. They are also able to, when they balance the hormones, these things we normally see ladies having like fungal infection, which has enriched the gynecologists in town, will not be there. You will not even have this this very painful, you will never undergo this painful process of having ectopic pregnancies, because the whole thing actually makes, it cleans the system. It also ensures that you don't have calcium circulating in the blood, which then combines with the homocysteine to cause calcification of our arteries, otherwise called atherosclerosis and atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is when the blockage is inside the arteries, and the athero is when the veins and arteries are actually hardened to an extent that they lack the flexibility to pass the blood, leading to accidental clotting and maybe death from thrombosis, deep vein thrombosis. So this microbiota is medicinal, balances your hormones, regulates your the calcium, ensures that your growth hormone is functioning properly, and optimizes your moods, giving you optimum mental health. It gives you strength, helps you digest your food properly, manufactures for you some vitamin which is not found in the normal food you are eating. And therefore, the reason why I dwell on it so much is because it is at the center of protecting you even from cancer. You are as healthy as the diversity and balance of your microbiota. And in conclusion, I would want to say that these microbes have a very short lifespan, 20 minutes, meaning you can repair and replenish this microbiota as soon as we finish this meeting. If you have listened to my earlier presentation, I think I will end there.